Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me down there in Tequila, Georgia, my good friend, fellow University of North Georgia alumni and host of the Georgia Voice of College Football, Matt Green, is here. Matt, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. It is good to be back with you this week, talking ball.
We're almost there. I was on a call with my mom earlier today, and my mom and dad, and they were talking about the schedule. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's about to be really, really hectic. Like we're not quite there, but fall camp underway this week and week 0 here in two weeks, whatever it is, 2.5 weeks. And football will be here before you know it. High school preps starts here, and I guess 2 weeks, almost exactly, a little under 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, football is absolutely here. We had the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, and yeah, it's we're definitely at that point where it's not quite, it doesn't help too. I don't know what the weather was like in Atlanta today, but it's been rainy all weekend. It was in like the 70s for the majority of today here in Knoxville, and I don't know, it had very much a early fall feel outside, and it was just I know it's a fake fall that we get, and it's going to be like 90 degrees again in like a week or two, but man, it's great. I really missed nice weather and 70s with rain and everything else. Big London guy, so big British guy. If it loved that kind of weather, that it was nice. It's great. It was a cozy weekend, Matt Green.
Yeah, I mean the 70s were nice, but no, fuck that rain, man. I can't stand the rain. I feel like it just ruins the whole day. You're like, and every time the dogs come in, their paws are soaked, and it's just a whole thing. No, can't get down with that Seattle.
Hold on, your dogs don't even have like the long hair though. You got a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd Rottweiler type. Like those don't have long hair. They can't be that hard to clean, especially the Rottweiler. He's got to be easy.
I would say German Shepherds. That German Shepherd hair is a little. And Rottweilers is not short hair. Okay. It's not like a boxer. Like they definitely. Zeus. I feel like there's something about the real Rottweiler hair that's like what's the word? It kind of repels water a little bit. It's kind of crazy. It kind of like will sit on his coat a little bit. But yeah, I think it's something with the German Shepherd hair. Maddox is a little more of that. He gets soaked, man.
Zeus,
specifically the paws.
Have you caught Zeus checking out the Athlon Sports Phil Steele annuals this summer to get ready for Zeus's home dog of the week? Have you seen him taking it a little bit more seriously this fall? Has his diet improved? Has Tori jumped on that to make sure his brain is firing on all cylinders as he gets ready for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think he's in the best shape of his life, really.
Yeah.
He's had a really strong fall camp thus far, so we'll see what happens with him. Go pushing 13 this November, so shout out to Zeus, really going strong.
13, man, and he's still in great shape. Like big dog in great shape, going in 13. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Khaleesi over here taking a nap. She's 12, halfway to 13. Not halfway. She's probably a fourth of the way to 13. But yeah, no, it's great. She got to see a lot of friends today. Dog park. It's a nice day. Nice little Saturday. Didn't even have time to go to Home Depot.
Not enough time.
Didn't have enough time, Matt Green. Well, don't forget, folks, you can watch a Pod Divided for the Vols versus the Dogs every Monday right here on the Chase Thomas podcast. And because we're so close to the upcoming 2025 regular season, guess what? When we go back to 2 shows a week for our preview and recap shows, because the Big Ten and the SEC are so big and we have so much to talk about there, we split those up. So we're going to do half of the Big Ten today, half of the Big Ten later this week, and we're also going to do half of the SEC at the beginning of next week, and then the back half of next week will be part 2 of the SEC to really make sure we give each school here in the Power 2 their due and really dive into what the Big Ten and the SEC are looking like. Don't forget you can watch us on YouTube, as we are over 2,500 subscribers there and growing more and more every day. So you can watch this very program on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us there, make sure you like and subscribe and comment below. You can also read me over there on sportsrenaissanceman.com. Wrote a column over the weekend on Tennessee's wide receiver conundrum. You can go check that out there on sportsrenaissanceman.com. You can get more information about this very program at chasethomaspodcast.com, Daily Tennessee Vols show, where we also do college football and a Vols versus Dogs twist here twice a week during the season with Georgia voice of college football host Matt Green. Don't forget, you can also support this show very easily by leaving us a 5-star rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or however you get your podcasts. It helps other people find this show, and it helps this very show continue to grow. And you can also always get in touch with us at chasethomaspodcast@gmail.com. Matt Green, let's start things off with our Dogs versus Vols segment before we dive into the Big Ten Part 1 preview. This is the question I had for you on the Georgia front, Matt Green. Would you bet on a Roderick Robinson breakout year, and how big would it be for Georgia if he's healthy and has the breakout year that people are kind of rumbling about with him this summer in Athens?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would bet on it. He's 2 years on campus now and hasn't been healthy for most of those 2 years. So he's definitely shined. He flashed at times, but I think he's one of those looks really good in the uniform. Like you see this dude in practice. He's friggin' huge. I think he's like 6 feet, like 230, 240 or something. And he I think broke records, I think in was it California he came
San
out
Diego,
of?
right?
Yeah, because he was a UCLA commit. I think he broke like the all-time rushing record, I think, in California, or maybe the single season rushing record. But yeah, I mean, so I'm definitely high on Roderick Robinson. I hope he stays healthy, but I think Nate Frazier is probably the easy one to bet on at this point, and then obviously Josh McCray has much more experience at the D1 level. But if Roderick Robinson were to break out, I mean, what is a breakout year for Roderick Robinson at this point? Like 500, 600 yards or something is like would probably be him staying healthy for longer, than he has to this point. But I mean, yeah, if we look up and Roderick Robinson has 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, like I think Georgia's offense is probably going to be one of the best offenses in the SEC, because I don't think anyone is banking on Roderick Robinson. If anything, he's just going to be a really solid number 3 back. And maybe he's better than Josh McCray, if he's healthy. I don't know. But I'm not necessarily banking on him having a breakout year. I just hope he's healthy and he's a contributor, really.
Well, I think part of it is, we talked about it last week. I think Georgia is sneaky thin at running back if they do not get a whole lot of help from McCray and Robinson, as you just laid out. Like, Chauncey Bowen has potential. Bo Walker has potential. But Nate Frazier is not, like, the bell cow back days are long gone, just all across the sport. Like, you need multiple guys. Like, Nate Frazier is a super talented 5-star kid, but it can't all be on him. Like, if Georgia's running game is going to be a whole lot better than what you saw last year, yeah, part of it is the offensive line has to be better. But part of it's like Georgia has to have a couple guys break out and take some pressure off Nate. Like, that's just how this is going to work. They are going to be a ground and pound team. Like, they want to be physical. Gunnar Stockton's definitely more of a physical, willing runner. You're going to, I assume, see a lot more RPO stuff and having him out in space. And I just think the identity of this team is going to be like, we're going to run the ball down your throat, and then we're going to take our shots throwing the ball, and not be as much of a finesse team as you were with Carson and his live arm the last couple of years. I think it's going to look pretty different. But for that all to work, I think in some capacity, like, they're going to have 3 backs they can count on, right? Like, I think it's hard for me to see Georgia having the depth they need to withstand a deep playoff run and all that if they don't have 3 guys in that backfield that they can rely on. Like, Tennessee has been that. Dylan Sampson broke down at the end of last year, and he was the main guy. But I mean, the 2022 offense that was number 1 in the country in scoring was a 3-man unit. It was Dylan Sampson, Jalen Wright, and Jabari Small. They rotated almost every series. Like, that is the healthiest running attack is when you're able to rotate like that and keep these guys fresh over the course of a long, grueling season, especially in SEC play. And now with the CFP getting longer, I think it's kind of sneaky important that, yeah, McCray is someone that helps him. You would hope more at the 3rd back type of deal, similar to what Tennessee has with Star Thomas coming in from Duke as the 3rd back in the pecking order. I think Roderick Robinson is just sneaky. Like, Branson's gone, and you have some young, intriguing talent like a Bo Walker, but you really do, I think, need Rob to be healthy this year and be someone who can really deliver some heavy blows. I mean, he's such a different back than Nate Frazier too, right? Like, you don't really have another back like him. I mean, McCray kind of is that, but you just don't know what you have in McCray until he start running against SEC defenses week in, week out, and a new scheme, a new system, and all that. So I don't know. I think Roderick Robinson's sneaky extremely important for Georgia, because I think they really need him to be to make that leap in 2025.
I mean, I think you can count way more on McCray than Robinson to this point, though. Like, it's not like Illinois. It's not like he's coming from the MAC or anything. Like, he was at Illinois, and this guy was a serviceable player. You know, what he had, like 600-700 yards, like 10 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah,
a year ago. So like that's a good player, proven at the Power 2 level. You know, so
23. He's an older back too.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that he is that different, style than Nate Frazier, I think is huge. I think it's what Georgia was missing last year. Because even Etienne was great. And even when he had to be the best player on Georgia's offense, he didn't last a whole year staying healthy. So you got to have multiple guys. And when Georgia's been at their best, it's always multiple guys. So yeah, I mean, if I hope Roderick Robinson is healthy this year. I think it would be massive for how good Georgia is, especially like you said. I think if Georgia's going to be what they want to be, like obviously the buzz around this first few weeks of practice is that Noah Thomas is like the best player on the field. So, if the passing game could still be just as dynamic, maybe it's just being done a little bit differently. Maybe just because the receivers are that much better than they were a year ago, the quarterback's getting a little more help. Like, I don't think Gunner is as good of a player as Carson Beck is right now today. But that's not to say with weapons he couldn't be better. With better weapons he couldn't produce better than Carson Beck did. So I think I do expect. With that said, I expect Georgia being successful is probably a better run game this year. And if it is, you probably need 2 or 3 solid guys carrying the load, like you said.
Yeah. I'll be very curious. I mean, Georgia's just a whole lot scarier if Roderick Robinson's healthy and breaks out. Because you know what you have in Frazier, and like you said, 23-year-old McCray, 10 TDs last year, 5 yards to carry. Like, you basically know what he's going to be ultimately too. But if Roderick Robinson hits that next level, and they're all healthy, that's a very dangerous 3-man unit for Georgia. And it gives Bo Walker and guys like that time to develop.
For sure, but it's also like Nate Frazier. Like, I'm not putting everything on Nate Frazier, but I mean, this guy was a 5-star running back coming out. You think about a guy too that was not an early enrollee a year ago and had to play a lot in the first game of the season. A guy like that can look a lot different year 1 to year 2. So like Nate Frazier could be the guy that's, the 1,200, 1,300 yard rusher with Josh McCray as the power back, kind of changing pace, and all of a sudden this offense is that much more dangerous. So Roderick Robinson feels like if he's good, he's more of a cherry on top for Georgia's offense. I don't think necessarily relying on him this year.
That's fair. On the Tennessee side of things here, Matt Green, Salesi Moa, big time stunner last week, Thursday afternoon. The Utah native, his dad was a Utah alum, 4-star player. He was a number 2 overall athlete as a whole on 247 in this upcoming 2026 class. He can play both ways. Safety looks like maybe at the next level, along with wide receiver. 6'3", big frame, physical guy. When this happened, Matt Green, this was one of those where I did not think Tennessee was gonna, like, a West Coast kid. I think first Utah commit for Tennessee in a long time, maybe ever. I want to say it was something crazy in terms of just a straight Utah recruit to pick Tennessee out of high school, but it's very rare. And to pull a kid from the West Coast like this, and Tennessee needed to add another receiver in this class because Tyron Evans ends up at Miami, the former 4-star who decommitted from the Vols as their 3rd wide receiver a couple months ago. But what's so interesting about where Tennessee's at right now is you already had Legend Bay, who's playing quarterback at an elite level in the state of Texas, who looks like a slot guy at the next level for Tennessee. And you also have Tyreek King, local kid from Knoxville Catholic, speedster, looks like another slot guy potentially. Maybe he can be on the outside, but not huge. I don't know if he's an outside guy ultimately at the next level. But you've been chasing Tristan Keys, the number 1 receiver in the 2026 class, 5-star kid out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. You're still in that. Like, I don't think this changes Tennessee's calculus here. But you already added 5-star Mike Matthews. You added the number 1 player in the state of Georgia in back-to-back cycles with Travis Smith Jr. and then Mike Matthews. You have a bunch of young blue chip. Every single receiver in Tennessee's wide receiver room right now is a blue chipper. Every single Tennessee wide receiver commit right now is a blue chipper in Salesi Moa, Legend Bay, and Tyreek King. It's an extremely talented room, just extremely young and inexperienced. And it's going to be hard to figure out how this all works, but iron sharpens iron, and may the best man win over the next couple of years. But Salesi Moa, man, that was one where that got a fist pump out of me, man. That was a huge surprise, but it also is insurance. And this is something I've talked about on my radio show on The Chase from 1 to 3 on Fox Sports Knoxville, Monday through Friday, is that the key stuff can happen, but it's still like Tennessee still just needs it. I would feel a lot better if they had another third guy in the boat, because it's not going to ultimately matter. Keys is not going to pick or not pick Tennessee based on having 3 blue chip receivers in this class, or 2 when he flips from LSU if he does. And now you have insurance. Like, you have a extremely talented guy on the outside in Salesi Moa coming in here, who you read every single profile on him and they're excited about him. He has a lot of national publicity, and I'm excited about it because I think he is someone that Tennessee not desperately, but really needed to add to this class as protection for if you're not able to flip somebody like Keys. I mean, Texas A&M and Miami are also in that. LSU also doing obviously everything they can to keep him in Baton Rouge, but now you're okay. You're like, hey, if Keys doesn't end up picking Tennessee, it's all right. We got Salesi Moa, we got Tyreek King, and we got Legend Bay. Like, it's another insanely talented wide receiver class here. So I don't know. That one was a stunner for me this cycle. Joel Wyatt earlier in the week, not a stunner, but another 4-star blue chip, top 3 athlete in the country, borderline top 50 player. Salesi Moa was a top 50 player. Tennessee now in the top 10 in recruiting this cycle on 247, I believe, right now. And Savion Hyder seems like it's down to Michigan and Tennessee. The 5-star number 1 overall running back out of Virginia. I think he's going to decide this month, it looks like. So if Tennessee, I told people a couple months ago, is like, Tennessee, this class was either going to be the best of the Josh Heupel era thus far or the most underwhelming, because they are big fish hunting, and Keys is still on the board, and that's something they're not slowing down. They go and get Moa and Wyatt, 2 top 3 athletes nationally here. They're in the top 10 right now. They have not had a top 10 class under Josh Heupel yet. So they're trending in that direction. They're still trying to flip one of these edge guys. That's one of the weird parts, is they don't really have an elite edge this cycle, where Coach Chop and Rodney Garner have done really well in that regard. So we'll see if they're able to flip somebody like Tristan Givens, 5-star from A&M, or 4-star Hezekiah Harris, current Auburn commit, depending on what Auburn season looks like this fall. And if Auburn implodes, it's probably good for Tennessee and where things might end up for Hezekiah Harris. But they're going big game hunting, Matt Green, the number 1 running back in the class, number 1 wide receiver. And these are big boy battles that Georgia has been in for years, but it's just fun, man. Tennessee is not going to win all these battles, but it just goes to show, man, this program is building a lot of credibility nationally. And Heupel, I think, is getting better as a recruiter. And I think it's one of those, this staff is just strong. Like, Kelsey Pope is a strong recruiter at the wide receiver position, and there's just blue chip talent everywhere. And Salesi Moa is the next guy that, like, I'm really excited to see what he looks like in a Tennessee uniform here going into next year and what he ultimately looks like. But it's another huge get for Tennessee, and it puts another piece in the wide receiver room for 2026, and you're still in play for the top receiver and top running back this class. So I don't know. It's pretty exciting, and Tennessee's not messing around the recruiting trail, Matt Green.
No, not at all. And it's better than most years that the 10th ranked class is actually the, 5th ranked class in the SEC. There's some years where like 10th can be like the 7th or 8th ranked class, but USC up there, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon, all in the top 10 this year. But it's long time till signing day, but it's looking good for Tennessee.
Absolutely. Well, Matt Green.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No, we have a Part B Tennessee story that we got to get into, sir.
Do I have to cut this?
John Tweet Sports. He broke the story. You saw it, right? The
scandal. I don't really want to get into this.
The scandal, sir. How do you feel?
It's not a scandal.
Hashtag Blurgate 2025, sir. We got to talk about it. So for the folks at home, Tennessee's official Twitter, Instagram, whatever, put this out. Someone got an interception in practice,
Colton Hood
made a nice play, but they blurred out the quarterback that threw the interception.
Allegedly. There's been conflicting reports that it wasn't a quarterback who they blurred out. It depends on who you're listening to right now. There's conflicting. The story is not complete, Matt Green. We don't know. We don't know. It's just odd.
I don't know, man. It's a bad look because on one, it just the fact that you thought about it, you're like, oh man, you're either like you're trying to protect somebody like Hugh Freeze and Hugh Freeze trying to protect his quarterback in spring, wants the defense to take it easy on him. Something like that, or you just like know your fan base is just gonna go absolutely nuts. The internet is gonna go nuts based on who threw the interception in practice. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like nothing.
I think it's nothing.
You think so? I don't know. Hashtag Blurgate 2025, sir. I think it's a scandal.
It's not a scandal.
Tennessee trying to cover up what's happening at practice.
What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? No, we don't. We have no idea. The whole story is not out in terms of the blurriness and the nature of it and why that happened or anything like that. So I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to reckless.
What was if this is true? What was your first thought when you saw it?
Irrelevant.
Yeah, you're like, did we really do that? We blurred it out. Like, I don't know.
Well, I have a broader point, which is it's just kind of funny to me how different the college football landscape is in terms of access versus the NFL. Like you're seeing Cam Ward do all kinds of stuff every day in Tennessee Titans mini camp here, fall camp. And there's all kinds of access. You can go watch the Falcons and Flowery Branch for hours. Like you can go watch Michael Penix and everybody, Kyle Pitts, everybody. You can go watch what the Falcons are doing for hours. And sometimes Michael Penix is going to make a mistake. Sometimes Cam Ward's going to make a mistake. Sometimes a player's going to make a great play. Sometimes a player's not going to make a great play. What I think is crazy is like it's such a limited amount of access. Like it's just like 15 minutes, and it's just these coaches are so paranoid, and everything is hidden, and everything is so serious. And it's like part of I think the nature of what's going on is like there's so much under wraps in terms of like who's winning the battle, who's not, like who looks good, who doesn't, because we haven't seen anything, and that's not something you see in the NFL. Like you will see, obviously you don't see every snapshot of practice and all that, but fans see a whole lot more, so it's not a big deal. Fans are conditioned not to freak out if their rookie first overall quarterback has a bad day at practice and throws some picks or whatever.
Bad throw.
Yeah, like they aren't going to freak out because you see so much of it. You know, the access is there because there's no fans at any of these. And it's just like everything is just so protected. And this is not a Tennessee thing. This is just an SEC thing and beyond of just like I understand it more in the spring window now because you don't want your guys to get scouted and get encouraged to get in the portal because there's video of certain guys popping in spring practice, whatever. Like I understand that's different than guys being under contract in the NFL and that sort of thing. But fall camp, like no one's going anywhere. Like you could just, it's fine. Let people see more. And then none of this is as big of a story. The fan base is not as hot and bothered, I think, on social media because they're seeing a whole lot more Merklinger versus Aguilar and McIntyre in action. But part of it is like they're trying to find any sign that Aguilar or Merklinger is winning the battle. Do you know what I mean? Like everything is so on edge because this is your first real QB battle in years that everyone wants to see one thing and be like, oh, what does this mean? Does this mean Merklinger is not winning the job because Merklinger threw a pick here? And it's like, well, if you have a lot of access and we have an hour plus of Merklinger versus Aguilar throws, people are just gonna be like, yeah, I saw him today. It looked like it. Do you know what I mean? It would be less of a big deal if we saw a whole lot more. But because everything is so protected, I feel like it ramps up emotions and it ramps up the fan base on social media because they're starving for any kind of inkling of who's doing better than the other person in this QB battle.
No, that is true. But in terms of being paranoid, it's like this isn't a 1 year like in a vacuum thing. Like if you didn't see him in spring, like, oh, now they're going to be on the roster. It's like you could see him in fall. Like, oh, this guy looked good in practice. We could probably poach him next portal. You know, it's like it's always going to be happening. You're going to scout guys for like multiple years and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's who's to say, but it's interesting nonetheless that they felt the need to blur it. Someone felt the need to blur it, which was just kind of funny to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but I do wonder if they respond or if they address it this week. I don't know.
I mean, I hope if anyone addresses it, that it's gonna become a bigger story. Like Josh Heupel is like, don't let that get out there. Like, I don't know, that'd be.
But I mean, how do you stop it at a press conference? Like, anybody gets asked? Like, I don't know. Like, people they're gonna ask. Like, I don't know. Tennessee. There's a lot of Tennessee fans who are very and up in arms. I mean, the first scrimmage is, I think, Saturday. I want to say this upcoming Saturday. So that once the scrimmage happens, I think people will move on. But also, maybe people just move on anyway because of the nature of social media and our current culture is that they will forget about, like, there's going to be something else that pops up, here in the next 12 hours for Tennessee or anything else, and you'll move forward. Just keep it moving. But yeah, I don't know. It was another normal day here online for the Tennessee Volunteers. Just another normal one.
I think hashtag Blurgate 2025 has legs, sir.
All right, that's just. You have an ulterior motive with the dogs here, Matt Green. So I won't stand for this.
Sports broke the story first. Give him a follow.
Not a Tennessee guy. He loves taking shots at Tennessee, I think.
Not a huge Tennessee guy,
No. Theme week, Matt Green. As we continue on, Big Ten preview part 1. Will they or won't they? We're going to start alphabetically, move our way up and down here, Matt Green. 9 teams this week on tonight's episode, and then we'll do 9 more later on this week as we go through the Big Ten. First up, the Indiana Hoosiers, Matt Green. What say you about the Hoos?
It's a little surprising that Indiana is first alphabetically in the Big Ten. That's a little SC's probably got 4 or 5 before I. That's what really counts. Indiana Hoosiers, sir, trying to become the biggest villain in college football, I think. What do you think? Kurt Cignetti and company. I'm just starting to get a little tired of his bull, to be honest. He came in talking shit, it's like, he's got some swagger or whatever. But now I'm just losing respect for Indiana. Like, I personally think they were obviously they blew out almost everyone they played last year, except for Ohio State. I think that Washington game was kind of close. But they didn't beat anyone good last year. Got to the playoff and then lose to Notre Dame. I just don't know. I have no idea how good they really were a year ago, even though they did take care of business against like the worst 7 teams in the Big Ten. Like, I still have so many question marks about how good they truly were. And obviously they're replacing the quarterback this year. I mean, it's arguably an upgrade, I guess, depending on who you ask at the quarterback position with, with Fernando Mendoza. But the schedule is going to be a little more difficult this year. So you don't get Ohio State. Instead, you get at Oregon and at Penn State, which I want to know where FBS Schedules is getting their rankings right now. If they got some sort of tip that I don't have, but they have Penn State number 1. You think Penn State's going to be preseason number 1?
I think there's legs for it. Like, who is the more obvious one? I think a lot of people are going to throw out Texas, but I would say Penn State's a safer bet than Texas.
Yeah, Penn State, Texas, Clemson, up there. Right now, Oregon, they have, looks like number 8 on here. So going on the road at Penn State, at Oregon, that's automatically tougher than what they did a year ago. I think that game at as crazy as it is to say, that September 20th game between Illinois and Indiana, like that might turn out to decide who gets the college football playoff this year. So I don't know. It depends. Like if Indiana just takes care of business the way they did a year ago, like I could see them being just as good, but a more difficult schedule. They lose 2, maybe even 3 games. Well, what's the over under on them?
So their over under is 8.5.
Yeah, like I tend to like that. Like they play Wisconsin. I'm not even talking about Wisconsin or UCLA or at Maryland, at Iowa too. Like these aren't all around. Like they legit played. I think their 9-game conference schedule, right? I think they played like the bottom 7 teams in the Big Ten a year ago, and then Ohio State and Washington was probably somewhere middle of the road. Like this, just off the bat with Oregon, Penn State, I would say, Illinois and Iowa, you're playing at least, and then who knows if, I mean, I'm not really betting on Michigan State being better, but year 2 of what's his name from Oregon State, that took who's the Michigan State head coach
Oh,
right now?
Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, like year 2 of Jonathan Smith. Like Michigan State could be better this year. So I think just right off the bat, it looks like they could have 4 or 5 games against teams in the top top half of the Big Ten, and that's significantly tougher than it was a year ago. Just because I'm hating on them, like I don't want to like hate on them to this extent and then go over, but I would not be surprised if they go 8-4. So give me the under on Indiana right off the bat, because I'm just not a believer that how legit they were a year ago.
It's a great schedule though. They get another. I think they're going to be right on the border. I think the respect is there that they're not going to be a one-hit wonder. Part of it is like I do think Cignetti is a good head coach. Like part of it is like I respect it because Indiana, I think, is one of the worst Power 2 jobs. Obviously, it's a basketball school. They'll always care about basketball more. But like you have to go in with some kind of attitude to spark something, right? Like it's kind of like PJ Fleck at Minnesota, where that's a really hard job, and there are some natural limitations about being the head football coach of Minnesota. Same is true at Indiana in a lot of respects, where it's like, man, I kind of respect that they are establishing a culture. He's rocking the boat. He's not afraid to, but he's also backing it up. Like PJ Fleck has won a whole lot of football games in Minnesota, and I think Curt Cignetti reminds me of him when he first got to Minnesota and the row the boat stuff and just his attitude and demeanor. But he backed it up.
He's not backing it up though.
Who?
Curt Cignetti.
I mean, he went to the playoff with Indiana. Did you ever think they would see good. Indiana in the CFP?
No, they were good. They were good on the field last year. But I'm terms and truly backing up like how much smack talk he's got, like canceling the game with Virginia and
that part is it. But I'm separating
schedule.
That part of it. I don't disagree that was weak and that whole stuff. All that's terrible. But he hires really well. Shanahan on offense, Haynes on defense. Like the defense is legit. Go through all of the different FBS defensive metrics. Indiana's defense was legit. It wasn't like that was fool's gold. I do think they had offensive limitations, and you saw that against Ohio State, against Notre Dame. Like Curtis Rourke was a good quarterback. He was not a great one. Like to your point, I think they upgraded. Fernando Mendoza can ball, and he's playing. It's a contract year for him. He's playing to potentially play himself into a first-round pick for the Hoosiers this year. I mean, he was really good at Cal a season ago, so I think that's the sneaky upgrade for them. I think Elijah Surratt's a really good player. I think this defense is going to be really good again. I have a hard time believing that they're going to have this steep decline that I think a lot of people are expecting, that they were a one-hit wonder. Curt Cignetti's a good coach, and I think he's got elite coordinators underneath him. And look, I mean, the schedule is start off 3-0. Illinois at home is huge for them. At Iowa, I think is winnable. Wouldn't pick them to win. At Oregon, probably not win that game, but you get Michigan State at home. You get UCLA at home. At Maryland's definitely not a tough room environment. At Penn State, probably not winning that one, but you get Wisconsin at home and Purdue on the road. Purdue's going to be pretty bad. Worst over-under in the conference once again here in year one of Barry Odom. I'm going to take the over. They feel like 9-3 to me. I don't think they're a CFP team, but Curt Cignetti winning 19 games in his first 2 years at a place like Indiana, it's pretty good, man. Yeah, I could do without the scheduling nonsense and some of the comments, but there's no question to me that him and his staff and Indiana has built a solid foundation, and Indiana's going to be good again this year. I'm going over.
Disagree right off the bat.
Will we disagree here, Matt Green? Next up, Iowa. The Iowa Hawkeyes, sir. 7.5. Lock it in. Over for Iowa. No respect out of the gate for the Hawkeyes, which blows my mind because Iowa, Phil Parker, I saw Andy Staples and I think it was Andy Staples over there on 3, who did his top defensive coordinators in sport. And I think Phil Parker was his number 1 longtime DC for the Hawkeyes. And Tim Lester, his second year there, the offense is moving in the right direction. Still not an elite offense by any means. But when you have the best defensive mind in the sport and you have always traditionally good offensive line, good running back play, Kirk Ferentz, obviously one of the best coaches in college football, like they just have a high floor. If you can get that offense to just kind of fun, then Iowa is back to being a perennial CFP team just with the foundation they built everywhere else. They get a FCS champion quarterback in Mark Gronkowski, and I'm very excited to see what he looks like in this scheme in a one-year wonder type deal. And it's going to be hard. They have to replace Caleb Johnson, NFL back, who was the engine that could for the Hawkeyes offense a year ago. But there's some weird stats when I was diving into Iowa. They were 95th a year ago in TFLs per game in FBS. but they were also 12th in FBS in turnover margin, and they had a negative differential in 2023. So for me, I think that's kind of sustainable because of the way they play, right? Like I think they're always going to be pretty okay in turnover margin is my guess when they don't have just craziness at quarterback. And this year, I think they're just going to be really good across the board. Like, yeah, like it's going to be a little bit hard. Gronkowski, I'm just really excited to see what he looks like on this team, and it's just going to be fun because he is a proven winner. It's a big step up going from FCS to the Big Ten, but they've got guys. Moulton should be pretty interesting for them. I think he looked better down the stretch last year, and like I said, they're always going to be good at tight end, and I just think they're going to be okay. I think Tim Lester is been a quietly good hire for them. It's not like an elite splash hire at offensive coordinator, but there were signs that they're moving in the right direction on that front. And I think Iowa is going to be really good again. I think Iowa is a sleeper. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I think Iowa makes a CFP. Everyone's looking at Indiana. Everyone's looking at Illinois. I think that sneaky Big Ten team that gets in is Iowa. Now, the schedule I don't love. Like, even at Albany at home, you got to go to Iowa State this year. I don't love that. But Iowa State they're going to Ireland to start the year. So they get a week off, and you don't love that part of it. Iowa State will be coming off a bye because they play in week 0, which is an early issue, I think, for Iowa potentially, is they're going to be playing the week prior, and Iowa State will be coming off a bye, and it's going to be at a home game for them. But you get Indiana at home. That's important for them. You get Penn State at home, Minnesota at home, Oregon at home, at USC, but that's winnable. At Rutgers, definitely winnable. At Nebraska in a rivalry game to end the year, that could get very interesting. I don't know. This schedule to me looks like 9-3 at the very least, in my estimation. I think they drop 2. I think Iowa, the defense is legit. I think Gronkowski is going to be really fun for them. I think Tim Lester continues to make strides on offense. They're not going to be top 20 or anything in points per yards per play or anything like that. They just got to get somewhere in that total offense of like the 35th to 45th range, and that defense, if it's top 5. Again, I think they're going to be really good. So I like the Hawkeyes to be the breakout team in the Big Ten this year. Give me Hawkeyes 10-2 over.
Wow, and it's 7.5, right?
Yes.
Iowa has, in the last 10 years, they've won more than 7.5 every year but one. And the one year they didn't was a 6-2 year during COVID. So they've basically done it for a decade. Although I think 2 of those years were 7-5 regular seasons where they won the bowl game. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. And looking at that schedule, I'm not completely with you, I should say. Looking at that schedule, I think they're going to beat some teams at home. They're the fact that they get the 3 preseason ranked Big Ten teams on their schedule all at home, I think that's pretty huge. I'm with you. I think they go over. I don't think this team's in the playoff or anything, but I think they could easily go 8-4, 9-3 or something.
Okay. Next up, Matt Green, Illinois, 8.5. These 3 teams I'm just bundling together, and it's kind of good that they're alphabetically together because I think one of these 3 teams are going to knock each other out, right? Like I don't think you get 2 of 3 in the CFP from this group, but I do think you get 1. I would say it's a lock that 1 of the 3 get in, right?
They may not knock each other out because that is the ultimate X factor when it comes to this Illinois team is their schedule. Like this is the Indiana of 2025. Like this is the team that could be a mediocre team that goes 10-2 or 11-1, honestly. Like I'm not saying like legitimately mediocre, but they could be a team that's in the playoff that has no business being in the playoff is basically what I mean. And I think it's going to come down to that week 4 matchup, like I said, in Bloomington, Illinois versus Indiana, because this schedule outside, and you get Ohio State at home too. Like Ohio State's the one huge like game on this schedule. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Penn State. They don't play Michigan. I think this is the year, and you got Luke Altmaier coming back at quarterback. It's not all about the schedule. This Illinois team was, pretty good a year ago. They went up. They ended up winning 10 games. Were they at 9-3 that won the bowl game?
Did you say Iowa last year?
No, I said, did they win 10 games? Illinois last year?
Illinois.
Yeah, they were 10-3 a year ago. and totally punked out Shane Beamer, which Chase Thomas has to love, the number one Shane Beamer hater out there.
I'm not a Shane Beamer
hater. You're a huge Shane Beamer hater, sir.
Drinkwitz drives me more nuts than Shane Beamer these days.
Okay. But yeah, with the whole, what was it again? What was it that it was the substitutions?
No, it was the arms up on the kick return deal.
The arms up on the kick return.
Like, he ran after he put his arms up, like that whole thing. And they were saying, like, you can't, like, it's one of those things where you fair catch, and it wasn't a fair catch. And he kept, and he ran.
No, I'm talking about when Brett Bielema was like punking out Shane Beamer.
Yeah, that was it.
I thought it was something about how he was doing the substitutions. Like,
I don't think so. I thought it was a fair catch situation on a kickoff.
Oh, now I hate that I even brought it up.
I thought it was a fake fair catch situation. In the Citrus Bowl, right? Yeah, Beamer's players used a fake fair catch symbol, and Bielema was mad. Seeing that on Reddit, college football right now.
And Shane Beamer was mad?
Bielema was mad.
Well, Bielema was the one that got the last laugh. Like, he was the one that was doing shit that made Beamer mad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was like responding. I think because he was mad that they did a fake fair catch is what I think what happened there. Bielema was mad at the fake fair catch.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. So
because that was why Bielema did the arm thing.
Okay. Maybe I need to refresh myself on the story, but yeah, everything we said about Illinois, like, I think they were a sneaky good team a year ago. Bring the quarterback back, have a favorable schedule. I think this team has 10-2 written all over it. What is like 8.5 over under?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely going over on that. I think Illinois is if I'm picking one of the I teams, one of the I trio from the Big Ten, I'm going Illinois to make the playoff. I'm going Illinois.
See, if I'm going to go kind of over on Indiana and Iowa, I have to go under Illinois. Like, all of these three cannot do it. Luke Altmaier, I think, is legit. He's a good player. 3rd year in the system. He showed some stuff with his legs last year. I think he's a complete quarterback and really good, but they lost multiple receivers. We'll see how the transfers do. They lost Josh McRae to Georgia here in the spring transfer portal window. Like, Hudson Clement could be good. We'll see, coming in from, I think, West Virginia, I want to say. But I don't know. It's just kind of weird to see, because everyone wants Illinois to be this year's Indiana. And it's a great story. Like, Brett Bielema, another just tough job, and Brett Bielema's done a great job, no question, at Illinois. But I also kind of don't love the schedule. Like, I think I would right now pick them to lose at Indiana early on. Like, I don't love that spot for them. At Duke won't be a cakewalk. Darian Mensah and company, Manny Diaz has that thing humming and a pretty good deal. Like, I don't think Illinois is just a lock to walk into Duke Stadium and get a win there. Like, I don't love that for them. I don't love that they get right after at Indiana. They get USC, who I'm pretty bullish on at home right after that. You got to go to Washington. Washington, I don't think, has lost a home game, Matt Green. And I think they have the longest home winning streak in college football, right? And outside of...
Sir.
Hold on, when was the last time Washington lost a home game?
Georgia's won like 34 straight or something. It's not
okay. Maybe
close.
In the Big Ten.
I think Washington is second longest. I think it's like 15 or 20 straight or something. Because I think they went 6-6 last year and won.
They won
6
every home
games and lost 6 road games or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they have when was the last time they lost a home game? Like, it's something crazy.
Definitely not 2020. 2024.
Yeah, they've won 20 plus home games. I'm looking back here. They have over 20 plus consecutive home victories.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it's definitely up there. I think it's the number 2 streak.
But that's my whole point is, like, are we predicting Illinois to go in and end that streak? If not, that's another loss. They got to go to Wisconsin late. We'll see what Wisconsin looks like. I don't know. I don't love the schedule for them. I think it's a 8-4 type year, and it's going to be a disappointing year for a lot of Illinois fans. But yeah, I'm going under. I'm going over on Iowa and Indiana, and I'm going under on Illinois.
All right. It is 20. It's right at 20. So Georgia is at 32. According to this, WarrenNolan.com. Shout out to this guy. It looks official. Georgia's at 32. Washington at 20. Oregon at 15. Alabama at 12. Tennessee down there, 8 straight home wins to this point.
Okay. Next up, Maryland, 4.5. Matt Green. It's a rough situation. I don't think there's any way to bounce around. Like, the Maryland stuff is complicated because I think it's a hard job, especially the Big Ten. They're in a weird conference. Like, Maryland really just doesn't belong in the Big Ten. Of all the schools in the Big Ten, to me, the one that just stands out where I'm just like, what are we doing here? It's Maryland. I don't know if you agree. Like, everyone looks at the West Coast schools, but I'm like, I should kind of see it. Like, Washington and Oregon have fit right into me. Like, I don't know. They just seem more normal.
There's not many conferences, or there's not many colleges that are legitimately like synonymous with the name of the conference, like in terms of just description, as Maryland is to the Atlantic coast.
Yes.
Like Maryland like is the Atlantic coast. I don't know. It's like the biggest port, like part of the Atlantic coast.
It's just
I hate Maryland being in the Big Ten.
I agree. Mike Locksley, good OC. It's not going to work out, I feel like, at head coach at a certain point. He's 35-67 all time. He is 33-41 at Maryland. He was 2-26 over 3 years at New Mexico. His most amount of wins ever at Maryland to this point is still regular season wins, Matt Green, mind you. 7 wins. He's never won more than 7 regular season games in Maryland. And he's been here since 2019. So 3-9, COVID 2-3, 2021 7-6, 8-5, 8-5, 4-8 last year. I don't know. He's never had a winning record in the Big Ten. Last year they finished 17th. I don't know. To me, Damon Evans is gone, who is his AD who hired him. He's now at SMU as their athletic director. They brought in the Braves guy. I don't know if you saw that this offseason, but they brought in a Braves front office guy as their new athletic director. So the AD that hired Mike Locksley is no longer there. Maryland was 102nd last year, Matt Green, in FBS in yards per play. Not great with an offensive-minded coach. They were 86th in turnover margin a year ago. And they're starting a true freshman quarterback this year, Malik Washington, who could be really fun. But true freshman quarterback's probably not going to help that turnover issue and that turnover margin for the Terps. They have got to get a whole lot better offensively. They have the number 1 overall recruit in 2026 committed in Zion Ely, the edge from St. Francis. So that makes everything really weird too to me, where I'm like, you don't want to rock the boat, but it's also not like a DJ Lagway situation, where DJ Lagway and Billy Napier feel tied, and that makes more sense to me. Like, it's quarterback, most important position in the sport. But it's like, do you keep Mike Locksley if you go 4-8 again because he has the number 1 player, but it's an edge? It's not a number 1 quarterback. Like, it's not DJ Lagway's coming in to bail you out. It's an edge, which, okay. But I've seen a lot of
Davion Clowney. Like, that's still something, though.
Right. But I don't know. I wonder how much that's going to factor in to what Mike Locksley's future is if they have another bad year this year. It's like, hey, I got the number 1 overall recruit in the boat. It's like, well, yeah, but you've gone 2-16 in conference play the last 2 years or something. I don't know, because you look at the schedule, you're starting a true freshman. I don't love their roster. I think their schedule's still not great for them. It's not terrible because they do avoid Oregon. They avoid Ohio State. So that's
avoid
nice.
Penn State too, yeah.
And Penn State. They go to Wisconsin, Washington at home, Nebraska at home, at UCLA, Indiana at home, at Illinois, Michigan at home, at Michigan State. To me, it's that last 3, maybe last 5 that could spell doom. Indiana at home, they probably lose that game. At Rutgers, I think it's 50-50. At Illinois, they lose that game. Michigan at home, they lose that game. And at Michigan State, might be 50-50. So I don't know. I do know that 3.5 is brutal for if you're a Maryland, or 4.5 is brutal if you're a Maryland fan. And it's like, I don't know. I think Maryland could be better. Like, you're still in a better recruiting area. Like, Mike Locksley just hasn't worked out. He's gotten a long time. I don't know. I think it's just probably time for a change there. Right. So I'm going to go under. I think they go 4-8. And if they go 4-8, does he keep his job because you have the number 1 overall recruit in 2026 coming in? But he's an edge. Like I said, it's not a quarterback. I don't know. I'm still making a change there.
Yeah, I mean, getting a 5-star recruit like that is something, though. You're Maryland. Like, that says a lot. And you just were reading his results, like 8-5 in 2022, 8-5 in 2023. Like, Maryland is not an easy job. Like, winning 8 games there is not nothing. So, Yeah, they had one bad
7
year.
games though in the regular season. He went 7-5 both years. He won the bowl games.
They won those bowl games. They count, man. 8-5. Right. But yeah, I mean, last year though, to your point, 4-8 a year ago, they lost 6 of the last 7 games. They didn't win. They didn't lose any of those games by 1 score. By the way, 6 of the last 7, and the one game they won against USC, they won by 1 point. So damn near lost the last 7 games of the season. So it's not great. The schedule is the biggest thing though. I was gonna talk about, like you were saying, like to avoid Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon, like those are the big 3. Those are the only 3 teams I would say are almost guaranteed to make the college football playoff in this conference. The fact that you avoid them, you just have a bunch of coin toss games. If they can go undefeated out of conference, which FAU, Northern Illinois, and Towson, like they should go 3-0. They got it. They just find 2 wins in some of those coin flip.
I mean, they're starting
games.
a true freshman, Matt Green.
I think they can do it. I think I don't know where they're going to do it. I don't know who they're going to beat, but it's not like the craziest schedule by any means.
It's not the craziest.
Give me the Terps to maybe not make a bowl game, but go over that 4.5.
Okay. Interesting. We disagree again. A lot of disagreements here on this one. This is going to be fun to revisit the Big Ten later on this year. Next up, Matt Green, the Michigan Wolverines, 8.5. What say you?
Michigan Wolverines, I feel like, are one of the more difficult teams to judge, not only in the Big Ten, but like in all of college football right now. Like this team, I mean, like the best like 4-year run in like the history of like the program, maybe at least you go back to like pre-World War II stuff, which is shockingly where a lot of Michigan's championships are from. Like it's kind of crazy how many pre-World War II championships they have. But that 2021 to 2023 3-year run, I should say, they went, what was it, 37-3 over that 3-year stretch, won a national championship. Still feel robbed that we didn't get Georgia Michigan in 2023. That we really, as a college football world, we deserved that game. But 2024 they go 7-5 in year 1 of I'm blanking on the coach's name. Moore? What's the head coach's name?
Oh, Sharon Moore.
Sharon Moore.
Go
7-5 year 1 of Sharon Moore. Like I legit don't know like if they're going to be anywhere remotely close to what they were. Also, I think that everyone just kind of, sweeps the Connor Stallion stuff under the rug. But like, I'm not saying it's like we should punish them. Like maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't, whatever. But we can't act like it didn't have an impact on them winning. So if they're no longer doing the stuff they were doing with Connor Stallions, maybe they're never as good as they were under that 3-year stretch. Like it's not crazy to think. I'm not saying to punish them, but I'm saying moving forward, how we project them, no Harbaugh and no Connor Stallions. I don't know exactly what to expect from Michigan football moving forward. You get Bryce Underwood. I assume, right, Bryce Underwood is the starter. Like, that's what it sounds like. I mean, he's the $10 million man or whatever they paid for him. This schedule is just very interesting to me. Obviously, you're going to end the season at Ohio State, but to go at Oklahoma is one of the more intriguing teams in college football in terms of, like, variance of where their ceiling and their floor is. But, like, that's going to be a really tough one, a night game at Oklahoma. And then you go at Nebraska. Like, is Michigan better than Nebraska this year? Like, I don't know if I can like positively say that, like I think Nebraska could be a team that's a little bit of a sleeper. So at USC is another one, Wisconsin, Washington. Like there's just a lot of those games that with what this team was a year ago, like I don't know exactly what to expect of them in 2025. Like I don't know what the Sharon Moore Michigan team looks like. So it's kind of interesting. Like we see a lot of year 2 bumps from coaches, but this is kind of weird because he took over the national championship winning program and had a huge dip. So I think what's the over under? You said 8.5?
Yes.
8.5 is tough. I feel like this team, they wouldn't surprise me if they finished 9-3, but I just have no idea what to expect of them. Bryce Underwood could be the second coming of Cam Newton, and they could be amazing, or he could be another freshman quarterback that goes through, his struggles. So I don't know. I tend to, and a year ago, they lost at Washington, they lost at Illinois, lost to Texas at a conference, and lost to Indiana, and lost to Oregon a year ago. So not all of those teams are on their schedule in 2025, but I don't know. I think I'm lower on Michigan. I'm going to go under. I think they finish. I'm going to say 8-4 this year.
I would say if they had a Penn State and or Oregon on the schedule, I would probably lean your direction. But this to me reeks of a 9-3 type schedule. I think Michigan, I mean, they were in a dogfight with USC late, and now they got to go to USC this year. They got to go to Nebraska, and I think Nebraska's going to be much improved. We'll get to them. At Oklahoma is no cakewalk, but as of right now, I'd probably pick Michigan to win at Oklahoma. We're not to our preview yet, but I'd probably I'd go Michigan there.
I think you may be lower on John Mateer than like anyone else in college football right now.
I'm pretty low on John Mateer, yeah.
And a lot of people are saying he's like first team all SEC.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Heisman dark horse.
Yeah, I'm not there. We'll see it. But you get Washington at home, which is important this go around. But Ohio State at home, like I mean, are you going to be the one to finally predict Ohio State to beat Michigan? Like, are we sure they're going to get the monkey off their back this year?
Yeah,
I think right now until they prove it.
Straight?
Yeah, 4 straight. Like, I'm going to pick Michigan to win that game again. So I think this is a 9-3 type schedule. Like, I don't think they're a CFP team. I don't think a true freshman guy and putting all that on Bryce Underwood's fair. But I mean, Justice Haynes is a sneaky huge pickup for them. Alabama transfer at running back. I think he'll be good. I don't love their receivers like McCauley. Like, we'll see the Indiana transfer. I don't love that rotation, but I just think they're going to run the ball down their throat. And a lot of I just think this identity is going to be just ground and pound, defense first, and still strong staff, still going to be, I think, a physical, strong football team. And I don't know. I think Bryce Underwood, lot to like there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still leaning. Yeah, I think I'm going to go over Matt Green. Like you said, there's a lot to still wonder about what Sharon Moore is going to be as a head football coach here. But I think the schedule is really nice. And like I said, avoiding Penn State and Oregon, who I think are probably the 2 best teams in the Big Ten this year. That's a pretty big win for the Wolverines. At USC is going to be tough. At Oklahoma will still be tough. At Nebraska, I think will be tough. But I look at the schedule and I see 9-3, 10-2 type season for Michigan. And I think if you get 10-2, it's a gigantic, huge win for year one for Bryce Underwood. But I'm going to go 9-3 for the Wolverines, and they just missed the CFP. But I think they beat Ohio State again. I think this is just going to continue till the end of time. So give me 9-3 Michigan.
Am I exaggerating when I say that the 12-team playoff format robbed us from what should have been the best moment of the college football season a year ago? Like, Michigan upsetting Ohio State should have been like one of the biggest storylines of the entire season. And then just the drama of the storyline of Ryan Day coming into 2025 as a guy who's won 90% of his games on the hot seat coming into 2025. Like, Michigan beating Ohio State for the 4th straight year should have been like the most shocking result, just the craziest thing that happened to derail Ohio State's championship hopes. And the 12-team format just robbed us of that. And it's just like, no, doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all that Michigan should have ruined Ohio State's season. It kills me.
But I think Michigan fans get to continue to rub it in. It's like, yeah, great national title, but you still didn't beat us to get your way.
I don't think it matters at all. You won the national championship. Like, yeah, we got tripped up along the way. We won the national championship. You guys went 8 and have fun. Yeah, you beat Alabama in the Citrus Bowl.
They finished strong though. The Wolverines did finish strong last year.
Yeah, they beat Ohio State and Alabama. Like, on paper, that feels great, but the fact that Ohio State still won the national championship, like, I don't know. I feel like that just completely negates it. Like, I don't know. We're here for the drama, sir. And I think people talked about it was good for the sport, in the BCS, people arguing over who the best teams are, that's good for the sport. People kind of made that argument for years. And I think the 12-team playoff has kind of robbed us of some of these just the finality of some of these results. Like Michigan beating Ohio State for the 4th straight year and ruining their national championship season, their $20 million roster and all that, everything that Ohio State had invested into that 2024 team. I think that just would have been massive. And then what they have come back in 2025, it's like, is Ryan Day on the hot seat? I feel like it would have been a legitimate conversation. Now he's national championship winning coach. I don't know. It's the I've said it before, least satisfying college football season of all time. We can get into that later, but it's very unsatisfying.
Okay. Next up, Michigan State 5.5. Matt Green. This one's tough for me because I think everyone, college football fans, I think are rooting for Jonathan Smith and Aiden Childs to work out, right? It's a great story. Like Jonathan Smith, great coach. He succeeded for a long time at a really tough job at Oregon State. He took a big chance to move on from where it was safe and where he's had so much success and went to a job that has not been able to find its footing. They got Jay Batt from Georgia Tech, who has been a great AD over there on the flat. So I think that's a step in the right direction, but I don't know if that you'll see dividends paid there in year one for Jonathan Smith and company. But NIL maybe looks to be improving a little bit for them. Aiden Childs, I think, was someone everyone was really excited about coming in along with Jonathan Smith, but they were 105th in FBS and yards per play last year, Matt Green. They were 93rd in points per play allowed defensively. Everywhere you look, this was just a bad football team. And I'm a little worried about where this is headed with Jonathan Smith, kind of in that Luke Fickell zone where I individually think Luke Fickell is a good college football coach. I think it's still just troubling waters, and I don't think it ends well in Wisconsin, but I still think Luke Fickell is a good coach. I think he made a big misstep early on, trying to do the air raid at Wisconsin and not doing the ground and pound that he probably should have started with. Like he just kind of, I wonder if you asked him if he would admit that, like, yeah, I would like to get a do-over there and not to do that with hiring Coach Grimes here to be his OC this year. But I think with Jonathan Smith, it's like 5-7 year one, not the best, but also not terrible. I don't know. It took time for him to break out. He won 18 games his final 2 years at Oregon State. But I mean, they went 2-10, 5-7, 2-5, 7-6, and then 10-3. Are Michigan State fans going to be that patient for Jonathan Smith and company? Like, this is a big time program. This is a CFP program. Mark D'Antonio, Nick Saban, like Mel Tucker was still recruiting like, hey, this is a big job. You know what I mean? Like he left Colorado for this job at the time. And that was a big hire for Michigan State at the time. All that to be said, like Michigan State has a strong history here. And I wonder if Jonathan Smith is going to get the time to figure this out because they were just bad all across the board last year. And the 5.5 win total is not great. I think he has to get to a bowl game to take some heat off. You probably want to get to 7-5 to really feel good. But I don't know, Matt Green. I'm kind of iffy on Michigan State. And if this is going to work out, I'm pretty I don't think it's going to work out for Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. But I'm kind of nearing that point. It's only been 1 year. But I don't know. That first year was bad all across the board. And Childs really struggled here. He's got to make a big leap. I hate the schedule for them. Like they go to USC, at Nebraska, at Indiana, Michigan at home, at Minnesota, Penn State's on this schedule at home, at Iowa. This schedule sucks for a year two for Jonathan Smith trying to make progress. I think they hit the under here. I don't think they go bowling. I think 5-7 is about right. Maybe 4-8. I'm not a believer in where this ship is headed, and I hope I'm wrong on this regard, but I see a lot of losses. I don't think even Boston College at home early is a gimme for Michigan State. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses on this schedule. So I'm going to go 4-8 for Michigan State. And what happens if he goes 4-8? Because this AD who's there, like, is gone. Like, Jay Bad did not hire him at Michigan State. I mean, I guess you give 1 year. I don't think it's fair to go up to 2. You want to try to get to 3 for most guys, but I don't know. I don't like the schedule. I don't like the situation here. I just got a bad vibe. I don't think it's going to work for Jonathan Smith.
You said it was 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going under.
Yeah, you look at the schedule. I was kind of going through, kind of looking how many games are they favored in, and it's like I think at most they're favored in like 4 games this year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any chance Jonathan Smith gets fired after year 2. I mean, you went out and got he was one of the hot names on the that was out there in coaching circles when you got him. And, like you said, they consider themselves a big time job. Like the money they gave Mel Tucker was like a big time job type of money. So they obviously have higher expectations. That 11 win 2021 feels like a long time ago. I don't know. I look at them. I tend, I'm a big year 2 guy. So I could see them taking a huge step forward in year 2. To your first point, the first point you made, is this a story that everybody's rooting for? Like Jonathan Smith going to Michigan State, bringing his quarterback with him. I think people kind of don't like that. That not only does a coach leave, but he goes and poaches one of his best players as well, or who he thought was one of his best players. Aiden Childs has to be a lot better. Just so many turnovers a year ago. That's going to decide their season. If they cut the turnovers in half, then maybe they're a better team. Under 5.5, though, I think I'm with you. I think 5-7, 4-8 really kind of feels like the type of season they're going to have this year. And yeah, Boston College, they lost that game a year ago at Boston on the road. So
yeah,
I think I'm with you. I'm taking the under as well on Michigan State.
I like it. Next up, Matt Green, Minnesota 6.5. What say you?
The Minnesota Golden Gophers, sir. PJ Fleck and company. They went 8-5 a year ago, won the bowl game. They won. Is that the Mayo Bowl? Was that the Duke's Mayo they won?
I believe you.
Yeah, versus Virginia Tech, 24-10. I feel like I like PJ Fleck in general. So looking at this schedule, they go at Ohio State, they go at Oregon. Those are really the only 2 teams like in the preseason rankings that are likely on this schedule. What'd you say? Was it 8, 8.5, 7.5?
8.5? No, 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
I mean, they did win 7 games last year in the regular season. At Cal on the road early in the year, that's going to be a tough one. This feels like a 7, maybe even 8 win team. Got the preseason, the big time recruit they got, the safety who had a good freshman year.
Number 1 player in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think he's preseason. What is it, Coy something?
I don't know his name off the top of my head, but
Coy Partridge or something like that. I had the all team, the Coy Parrish, first team all SEC, or I guess second team all Big Ten coming into this year. He was big time as a freshman. I think in general, I just look at this schedule. They feel like they're going to be such a middle of the road Big Ten team. I don't even know, man. At Iowa, at Ohio State, like I said, at Oregon, this feels like a 7-win team. And you said 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the over. Give me the over on Minnesota.
I'm right there with you. I think they're a lock for the over. This is one of the more puzzling ones to me. PJ Fleck, I think, is still somehow underrated at Minnesota. And again, this is a hard job that he has made look a whole lot easier than it actually is. He went 8-5 last year, 6-7. He's won at least 8 games, 3 of the last 4 years, 9-4 in 22, 9-4 in 21, 11-2 in 2019. Still pretty bonkers. Like he was able to get Minnesota to double-digit wins and then win 9 games 2 years later. I think that's pretty crazy to go under in this regard, even with the 5-7 season in 2023, because they won their bowl game getting in that year. But I think part of it is just quarterback might suck. Like this might be one where Drake Lindsey is the worst quarterback in the Big Ten this year. So we'll see on that regard what he ultimately looks like. But I just think he deserves benefit of the doubt, man. Like I'm not going against, I just think their defense, like losing their DC to Miami, I wonder how much that hurts this offseason because they were a top 10 defense with him. But PJ Fleck hires well. He develops well. They're going to be really good running the football again. Like you said, they have some elite talent all across the board. I think they're still, for lack of a better term, rowing the boat in the right direction. I'm still pretty bullish on where the Golden Gophers are going to be in 2025 and beyond. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you and I are crazy for still being a pretty big believer in PJ Fleck and company being able to do this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go over too. I think Darius Taylor is a really good player and one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. And I think they're going to be just fine. So I'm going to go over. I just think they need Drake Lindsay to not be one of the worst quarterbacks in the Big Ten. They need him to overachieve just a little bit in his first season as a starter.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Next up, Nebraska, 7.5, Matt Green. This one's also kind of, I think when you first see it, you're like, oh, that seems like a lot. And you look at the schedule and you think about Nebraska as a whole, where we've been here before, Matt Green. How many times have we tried to talk ourselves into Nebraska, right? And for me, I'm like, yeah, that should be it. Then I look at the schedule and I'm like, okay. Like at Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati is going to be pretty okay this year. Like I don't think they're a CFP contender, but Brennan Sorsby is a good quarterback. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12, and I think that's going to be a challenge right out of the gate for Nebraska to win. I mean, Michigan at home will be tough. I think going to Minnesota will be tough. USC at home will be tough. At Penn State will be tough. Iowa at home will be tough. I think they still do feel like an 8-4 type team to me, but I've seen a lot of people really buy all in on this being a 10-2 CFP type team here with Dylan Raiola in year 2. I don't see it. I think Phil Snow being back should help for Matt Rule, and Matt Rule year 3s are always, generally speaking, pretty great. He's got this thing moving in the right direction. Dana Holgerson's such a huge upgrade at OC over Satterfield. Dane Key, I love that addition from Kentucky at receiver. But they were 82nd last year in points per drive offensively, 71st in turnover margin as well. So they got to fix that in 2025. The schedule's not crazy terrible, but it's still just like, to me, not great enough for me to be like, yeah, Nebraska's a breakout CFP team to me. So I'm going to cautiously go with you where 8-4 feels the most right. But I think there's a weird amount of like buzz and like, oh, Nebraska, they could be back. Like everyone wants Nebraska to be back. It's kind of like Texas in some ways, where it's like, oh, Dylan Raiola, year 2, and this thing's cooking in the right direction. And I'm like, I think they made great hires. Snow being back, like I said, helped the defense is huge. And I think Dana Holgerson's an elite offensive mind in the sport. So I think that's going to be great for Raiola and Dane Key and company. But I still don't see it. I don't see a double-digit win season for them just yet. Moving in the right direction. I don't see it though. So I'm going to go 8-4, just slightly over.
But you did to go over, right? 7.5.
Yes.
Yeah. What's interesting to me, I had the stats pulled up of DJ Lagway and of Dylan Raiola, and it's kind of shocking how people are talking about Lagway coming into year 2 versus Raiola coming into year 2. Like Lagway completed like 59% of his passes, 12 touchdowns, 9 picks, like started a handful of games. Like Raiola, 13 touchdowns, 11 picks, completed 67% of his passes. Like, I mean, I'm not like super high on Raiola, but it's interesting how we like are blinded by the 5-star talent with some guys, and some guys are like, you throw them out after 1 year. Like, oh no, this guy was ranked the number 1 quarterback in the country coming out of high school, or Lagway, whoever you had number 1. And he started the full season. Like, we see huge improvements with guys from year 1 to year 2. I think if you're putting stock in Nebraska, it's because you're all in on Dylan Raiola. So I think it's, especially look at their team a year ago. Like, you lost to Illinois in overtime, lost by a touchdown to Rutgers, lost by 4 to Ohio State, lost by 7 to UCLA, lost by 3 to Iowa. Like, there were so many games that Nebraska was in. The defense was good a year ago. So if the offense has a pulse, I feel like Nebraska should, be able to get over that 7.5 and get 8 wins next year or this year. So I think I'm like you. Like, I might not be like talking about them making the playoff or anything, but no Ohio State, no Oregon on the schedule is a good start. And I think I'm with you. I think this team goes 8-4. Don't sleep on that opening matchup Thursday night with the Cincinnati Bearcats. It's no Invesco QQQ Atlantic Gridiron Classic, but they are playing in the Battle Sports Kansas City Classic. So look out for that, sir, in Arrowhead.
That's true. Final one here, who I think is probably my pick to be the worst team in the Big Ten this year. The Northwestern Wildcats. We'll do this one together because it's an odd number here tonight. 3.5, Matt Green. What say you?
Yeah, if we're finding 4 wins, like they got Tulane, Western Illinois,
They're not
and
beating Tulane.
ULM.
Tulane might be the G5 representative.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just counting who they have out of conference.
I thought you were saying finding wins. It's like, here are my wins that I'm finding here. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Like I'm just saying those 3 teams out of conference, they're not winning more than 2. And then in the conference, Oregon, Penn State, at Nebraska, at USC, at Illinois, Michigan. Yeah, I'm going under. I think this team, they have to win 2 conference games probably to go over.
Yeah.
Maybe they beat Purdue, maybe Minnesota. Like, I don't think maybe UCLA, maybe. Yeah, I'm going under on Northwestern. I think you're right. I think this is the worst team in the Big Ten.
At Tulane's just terrible to open up the year for them. And Oregon at home, losing that one, I think. They need Purdue is a coin flip. Getting them at home is probably nice. I just don't see any other
wins. They did win
here.
at Purdue last year.
Yeah, so Purdue at home probably wins. So let's do the wins here. Purdue, I'll give them. UL Monroe, I'll give them. That's 2. Western Illinois, it's 3. UCLA, that's the one.
Yeah.
UCLA is the one to get the over.
Because they don't have Maryland on their schedule, right? They beat Maryland a year ago as well.
They do not have Maryland.
No Maryland. No.
Yeah, I think their one is. I think it's UCLA at home. If they're gonna hit the over, they have to beat UCLA and Nico at home.
Is their stadium? Is the new stadium open
next year?
Northwestern. Okay, so they're still playing at that thing right by the lake. Okay.
Yeah, it opens next year. What is it, Ryan Field? I think it's a pretty cool looking stadium. Defense should still be pretty good for them, but like Preston Stone, what a terrible transfer destination. Like, no weapons. Like, this offense sucked last year. You go through all the numbers, like, this was brutal in terms of what this offense ultimately looked like. They were 130th, Matt Green, in yards per play last year, 131st in drives that reached at least the opponent 20-yard line. So one of the worst teams in driving into the red zone. Like, just, I couldn't imagine watching Nebraska or Northwestern football last year. New AD, they hired Villanova's AD this past cycle, so current coach did not get hired by this one. And I imagine going into a new field and new era of Northwestern football, they probably, I think, this feels like a change, right? Like, I'd be surprised if they open next year in a new stadium with how bad I think this team's going to be again. They don't make a change. And it's like, what kind of job is that? Like, still power 2 job. It's hard, but new stadium. I don't know.
Does the stadium make it a better job?
It's better facilities. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
They're going to sell Chicago. Like, Rutgers is the New York market. Like, get in the New York market, take the Rutgers job. And
they definitely should be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say definitely.
It's like job. Right there. But and I'm saying they should be selling Chicago, is all I'm saying.
Just hard academics. Like, it's a good tool. I don't know. Northwestern does not have I'm trying to think. What is their all-time football record?
They should sell that journalism degree, for the the former player, get that Northwestern journalism degree, help get you in the industry. Michael Wilbon, right? He's a Northwestern guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch.
Greenberg, right? Greenberg's a Northwestern guy as well.
So they have, in our lifetime, Matt Green, they won 10 games 3 times. They won 10 games once in the 90s.
Although they did one of those that's not a 10-win season. 2020, they were in the Big Ten championship, right?
Yeah, because they went 7-2. They got as high as number 10 in the country that year.
Yeah, I mean, they gave Ohio State a game.
Yeah.
In that Big Ten championship.
They were number 3 in the country in 1995 with Gary Barnett. Can you imagine in today, like, explaining number 3 overall Northwestern football?
Yeah, Northwestern isn't. I feel like they've popped up more times than Vanderbilt. Like, Vanderbilt's like a nothing. Like, Northwestern's had, like, they made a Rose Bowl one year. That's probably the year you're talking about.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like Northwestern's had kind of their moments. They're 10-win seasons here and there. Like, Vanderbilt, I feel like it's had less of a pulse, personally. I don't know if that's disrespectful to another academic school, but like Duke has probably had more good seasons in the last 20 years or so.
I mean, they've had Spurrier and Cutcliffe. Like, Duke's had some good years.
Spurrier's going way back, though.
I mean, Cutcliffe had that thing humming for a while.
But yeah, Cutcliffe, they had a few 9-win seasons. Elko, too. So
Elko, yeah. I mean, Manny Diaz just won 10 games.
Did they win 10 games last year?
I thought Duke won 10.
I was thinking they were 9-4, but yeah, they were a good team. You might be right.
Maybe they were 9-4. I thought they were. Let's see here.
Let's see. I got you here.
Yeah, you were right. 9-4. I thought they got to 10. Oh, they lost the bowl game. That's right. They lost to Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they got to. Yeah, they were 9-3, and I thought they won the bowl game. Okay, yeah, 9-4.
Still,
yeah.
Year one at Duke. I guess obviously it's not a typical year one. Mike Elko was doing pretty well. That's why he got a new job. But still, big time year for Manny Diaz. Yeah, I assume that's a loss on Northwestern's schedule this year.
All right, Matt Green. We'll be back later this week as we do part 2. Some big names we have not hit on, like Ohio State and Oregon. So make sure you watch out for that in the middle of this week. We'll talk Big Ten part 2, and then we'll wrap up with the SEC next week. But thank you as always, my friend. Make sure you go subscribe to the Georgia Voice of College Football and keep up with Matt and his Georgia Bulldogs coverage there. If you're a Georgia fan tuning in today, if you like today's episode, the easiest way to support us, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple, Spotify, however you get your podcast. Comment, like, subscribe on our YouTube channel if you're watching us here. That always goes a long way. And check us out at chasethomaspodcast.com for more information about the show and links to all of our full episodes each and every day. Matt Green, always a pleasure, my friend, and I will talk to you again in a couple days.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.